Here is a 1969 or 70 Panasonic R-1449 portable transistor radio. And I put some batteries in it, and it does tune, and but there's some problem in there. The radio lacked sensitivity, but I can see here what was causing the problem. The ferrite rod is broken in the middle, and it's just hanging there. So I'll see if I can glue that with crazy glue and see what we can go from there. Otherwise, it seems to work okay. It probably just needs some cleaner. And I think what I'll do is I'll take the whole radio apart and clean, because I can see dirt in the grill and everything, speaker grill. So I think I'll dismantle it and clean the whole thing, and then put some electronic switch cleaner in there and see how that fixes things. So here I've unwound the coil. It normally goes to there, and I've glued the two sections together. Now one thing about gluing ferrite rods together, you have to get the right place, and this was convenient. It had a notch going all the way, or a cutout, a flat area that was all the way along there. That made it a lot easier, and I was able to get it in the right place. I used super glue, a cyanoacrylate based glue, and sometimes when you glue these together with that, you'll find you're holding it together for 30 seconds or a minute and it doesn't set. So one tip that you can do to get these to set is to take a bit of moisture, just some water or something, or saliva, and just dab it around the outside, and that will make the glue set. So I'm going to have to take this coil and rewind it, and maybe add some wax onto there or something. That's what these are normally. These 1960s and 70s ferrite rods are wound, and then they put a layer of wax on there, and then they wind them. There's probably enough wax on there to press the coil into, but if not, I can always add some. It's just beeswax. I can scrape some off an old capacitor, an old wax capacitor like this. So that's about it. And the next thing I'm going to do is put it all together back into the slot there, wind it, put it back in the slot, and then the next thing I'm going to do is, I think I'll take the radio apart and just give it a good cleaning. I noticed there's some a lot of dirt in the grill and everything, so I'll scrub it and make it all nice and clean, and it'll be a nice useful radio. With the removal of 3 screws, I've been able to take the circuit board out, and I've managed to free this wire which was looped around a capacitor there, and the ferrite rod is quite loose now. In order to get the ferrite rod out so I can clearly and easily rewind this wire around here, I'm going to have to get this wire out here, and that directly is soldered to the circuit board on the other side. Here is the other side of the circuit board, and now I'm going to have to take off these 2 screws and remove this plate here, so that I can get at the solder joints underneath here. So I've taken the plate off, and now the tuning assembly is underneath. The wire that I'm wanting to get at is underneath here. So I'm going to have to take the tuning assembly off and make note of the way it goes, take some photographs of it, and then put it back together again. So here I've managed to take the pulley off that has the strings on it that makes the indicator go up and down. So the wire that I want to take off is this one right here. You can see it comes right out here and goes up here. That's a capacitor there, and it loops around there and is soldered to the board there. So this is going to have to come out so I can pull that ferrite rod on the other side up and then wind it. So that should be fairly straightforward on soldering that. The wire goes around a capacitor which was pushed down on the board, and it's all held down by wax. And so the wire itself comes around here, and it looks like it's attached to the board right there, just above the pulley, just above the tuning indicator dial here. So right there I'm going to have to unsolder and then just take this all out, then put it back in its place. I always find it a good idea when there's any loose parts. I put the smaller parts like screws and washers and things like that, and things that are like this panel here, this that I'm going to put back, the frequency panel, or whatever you want to call it, bezel. It's best to put them into a sandwich bag and then just put them all into this sandwich bag, and it keeps them all together. So in order to get wind the coil easily, I'm going to have to take another wire off, and that goes here, and I believe that eventually goes there. So I'm going to have to take a picture of that. So now I've put the first wire on. The first one I took off was this one. That's soldered back on again. And the second one I took off is soldered back on where I took it off there. So I put everything back except the plate. And when I took the tape off, there was a bunch of string, and it fell out. This is probably the most unpleasant thing that, if you took a survey of people who like to fix radios, stringing the dial cord is probably the least liked of all tasks. Luckily enough, I have there's a resource called radiomuseum.org, and you can become a member, a lifetime member, for about $25 US, and they have thousands and thousands of radios, including this one, with all the information. So on that, probably they have, if you're a member, you can download a schematic and all the servicing information. So hopefully I'll have the original Panasonic dial stringing information on there, because this can get to be quite complicated. I think it goes 3 times around this one, and I don't know how many loops around here, but once I have it on a diagram, it should be quite easy. So that's what the restrung ferrite rod here. The part that had broken off was just a continuation of the main coil. And I've already tried it, and it tunes, and it works okay. It might need a realignment, but we'll see once we have it all sitting in the right place. This is a separate coil that was wound in the opposite direction, and it's working. So I have managed to put the string on after a lot of tries, very unsuccessful tries, but I was able to do it. Now I'm just going to put this bezel on here, and we'll start to put the radio back together. So I put the plate on here, and here is seems to be working. It's 73, 600. So it's tracking pretty good. There's 1130. 1470 is a bit off, but I don't think I'll adjust it much. Maybe I'll fiddle with it a little bit and see if I can get it tracking a bit more on frequency. Anyway, I've got a noise source near it, so that's why it's making so much noise. But generally it seems to be working okay. For a radio that's been hasn't been used for many years, it seems to be okay. The sound is a little muddy. That could be some bad electrolytic coupling capacitors. And but other than that, it's pretty good. It's very sensitive. It's received stations quite a distance away, a couple of 100 miles at night. So for now I'm just going to leave it like this and start cleaning the radio and make it look more presentable. Unfortunately, this radio once had a back on it that held the batteries in the back, but now it has no back on it, and someone has jury-rigged it so it can take a 9-volt battery. Seems to work okay, but it might be a little bit high for this circuit. So I'm going to have to, I couldn't get hold of a schematic diagram, so I'm going to have to just try 6 volts on and see if it works any better, because 9 volts might be a little on the high side for those old electrolytics. They might be 6-volt capacitors, but we'll see. Anyway, for the time being, it's working. So here we've got the circuit board back in, and this one here is tightened down, and just 2 more screws to tighten down. There we are. Now, as I said before, putting a 9-volt battery on this is just a temporary thing, because some of these electrolytics are rated at 6.3 volts. So what I'm going to do is, I have an old really old from the 1960s 6-volt battery pack. It takes 4 Penlight batteries, and it's rusty. These are rusty, so, and especially this one here. So I'm going to soak this in vinegar for maybe overnight to get rid of the rust and see if that helps. Otherwise, I'll just I'll purchase one of these or find one maybe in my junk box. Incidentally, I was able to clean the corrosion off this battery pack quite nicely with the vinegar, and it fits with 4 Penlight cells. It fits in this compartment quite nicely, and the radio works quite well. The radio is working quite well, and it's right on frequency. It's not bad.
Somebody like Smith. And the last time I checked,
the only thing that I would like to do is there's The plastic piece that covers the frequency readout there is it's rough. I've cleaned it with a number of different substances and it didn't clean that out. So I think I'm going to take a mild abrasive and see if I can rub that out. But I'll do that at another time. As far as the radio cleaned up pretty nicely. And it is a nice radio in... I'm near a very noisy source, but here, this has a kind of an interesting feature. It has a tone control which is very unusual in 1960s transistor radios. So it was a bit better than your average radio in 1970. So anyway, I think we've done everything we need to do to this radio. It works, and everything. I fixed the Ferrite rod, and then took off the various components that were covering. I had to take the Ferrite rod wires off, and then I put them back on again and restrung it. And there didn't seem to be any need to realign this radio. It's pretty sensitive. It got stations, distant stations, when I tried it at night. So we'll just leave this at this, and for the time being, we're not going to do anything else to it.